The lush African wilderness nestled within the ancient baobab trees and vibrant wildlife lies a close-knit community deeply connected to their natural surroundings called Obesai, a lakeside community. One faithful morning the chief of Obesai had a daughter named Adanna. Adanna had silver hair and blue eyes, which wasn't ordinary to the people of Obesai. They called her a miracle. Her parents loved her so much, and as she was growing up her beauty couldn't be rivaled. She played in the grand halls of her father's mansion happily and loved. As Adanna came of age, she was known to be the most beautiful maiden in the community. She fell in love with Kweku the fisherman. Their love was pure, but Adanna's beauty attracted to the jealousy of a powerful dark black magic sorceress in the fit of envy. The sorceress cursed Adanna. She lured her into the thick, dense forest and opened a vortex of transformation. Adanna tried to escape, but the witch was too powerful, so she put her in a trance. As Adanna stepped into the vortex, it vanished into thin air along with Adanna. Adanna's parents searched for their beloved daughter, but to no avail. She was lost forever. Every night her parents will go to the veranda under the full moon and stand in silence for their missing daughter until Adanna's mom will burst into tears and the chief will console her. As time goes by, Adanna's parents accepted that they won't be able to see their beloved daughter again. 5 years later, the tale of Naoka the mermaid surfaced in the lush wilderness. Nestled between ancient baobab trees and vibrant wildlife lies the ominous Lake Bomu Lake. Bomu Lake was known to be a lake surrounded by a thick mist that never seems to lift. It is said to be the home of a beautiful but dangerous mermaid named Naoka. A beautiful sea mermaid with silver hairs, blue eyes, and a shimmering scaled tail. Naoka has an enchanting voice at night, which she lured men and children with her hauntingly beautiful but sad song. Her ethereal voice, kind and irresistible enchantment, which nearby young men and boys became entranced. As they stand at the edge of the water and begin to wade, because of this the villagers will firmly warn their kids to stay away from the ominous Lake Bomu, for no man leave to tell the tale. One morning at the village of Obesai, as the sun slowly rose, a young scholar named Nnamdi arrived in Obesai. He was a curious and intelligent man, always seeking knowledge and new experiences. The legend of Naoka intrigued him, and despite the villagers' warnings, he decided to investigate the truth behind the tale. Nnamdi's fascination with the supernatural and his confidence in his intellect led him to the shores of Lake Bomu. He set up the camp and spent days observing the lake, hoping to catch the glimpse of the elusive mermaid. One evening, as Nnamdi sat by the lake, he had a melodious voice singing a hauntingly beautiful song. Mesmerized by that, he decided to come back at sunset. On his way, several villagers were trying to convince him to not go there at night, but Nnamdi, determined and curious, still sat by the lake at sunset and waited patiently for the moonlit night. He had a melodious voice singing again, and he followed the sound to the water's edge. There, rising from the depths, was Naoka. Her long flowing hair shimmered like silver in the moonlight. Her eyes were a deep, captivating blue. Without fear, Nnamdi approached Naoka. "Who are you?" Naoka asked, her voice echoing in the still night. "I am Nnamdi, a scholar seeking the truth," he replied, unable to take his eyes off her. Naoka's lips curled into a seductive smile. "Many have come seeking the truth, but no one lived to tell the tale." Despite her warning, Nnamdi felt drawn to her. He sat beside her for a moment and he asked her name, and she told him her name and her story. He empathized with her and he left home. As he got home, everybody in the village was surprised, but Nnamdi was too emotional to speak. In his room, he drew Naoka the mermaid, feeling a strange connection toward her. The next day he visited Naoka again. Amazed by his courage, Naoka decided to befriend him, and they became so attached to each other, spending nights together conversing. One night he asked Naoka about her parents, and she sadly told him. Naoka realized how she had forgotten about her beloved parents as she dwelled in her sadness. One fateful morning, Nnamdi decided to pay a visit to Adanna's parents. In his best traditional attire, he stands respectfully before Adanna's parents. Her father asked him who he is and why he is here. He introduced himself and he said he had found your long-lost daughter, and that she's Naoka the mermaid. He told him how she misses them so dearly. Her parents couldn't say a word to him, thinking he was delusional, and they told him to go home. That same night, Adanna's mother was standing the veranda staring at the full moon. As she remembers her beautiful daughter, she immediately burst into tears, and Adanna's father consoled her. One evening when Nnamdi visited Naoka, he asked her if the curse could be broken. Naoka's eyes full with hope. Only true love can break the sorcerer's curse. She whispered, but it comes with a price. I can help you break the curse. Nnamdi offered, determined to save her. Nnamdi, now enchanted by Naoka's beauty and sorrow, vowed to free her as they spend more time together. Their bond grew stronger. Nnamdi's love for Naoka deepened, and he realized he was willing to make any sacrifice to break the curse. He confessed his feelings for her, driven by his love and compassion for her. He decided to break the curse. But for Nnamdi to break the curse, he had to prove his love by staying with Naoka forever, transforming into a merman living in the depths of Lake Bomu. Without hesitation, he agreed. Under the full moon, they stood together at the edge of Lake Bomu, preparing to perform the ritual to break in Naoka's curse. The water shimmers with mystical energy, reflecting the moonlight and creating an ethereal glow. Nnamdi stood beside her, looking determined and focused. As they stood together holding hands and their fingers intertwined as they enchant the incantations. The air around them hums with powerful magic symbols, and runes glow faintly around them as the activated ritual. Nnamdi felt a powerful energy envelope him. His legs fused into shimmering tail, and he transformed into a merman with shimmering red tail. They swam together deep into the water, Nnamdi feeling a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. He was so excited he could breathe underwater, so Naoka led him to an underwater cave adorned with luminous crystals there. Her beautiful eyes were glowing and crystals were shining like stars, and together they swarmed to the surface. When Nnamdi told her he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, and he told her how much he loved her again. Back in the village of Obaisai, the villagers were worried about the young scholar because he didn't return, and it's midnight. So they all decided to go look for him at the Lake Bomu without hesitation. The villagers went there and witnessed a miraculous transformation: Naoka the mermaid and Nnamdi the merman. Miraculously transforming into humans, and Naoka transformed into the chief's daughter Adanna. Nnamdi held her closely and protectively, his face filled with pride and love. The villagers stood there silently in surprise as Adanna and Nnamdi walked off. The next day, news reached. The chief and his wife were waiting for their daughter patiently. As Adanna reached home, she was welcomed by a warm hug from both her parents, embracing her tightly. Their faces are radiant with joy and relief. As they all cried tears of joy for years of separation, Adanna was happy again. That evening, Nnamdi was summoned by the chief, and he was questioned and thanked by the family for safely bringing back their daughter. Without hesitation, he asked Adanna's hand in marriage, and her father agreed because his daughter loved Nnamdi too. The next morning, the villagers gather in their finest attire as Adanna and Nnamdi walk the aisle together, as the whole community celebrates the union of the beloved couple. A year later, in the beautiful new home of Adanna and Nnamdi, Adanna gives birth a beautiful baby. Their home is filled with love and warmth, with joy and expressions filled with love as they look down at their child. And so the enchanting mermaid of Lake Bomu and her devoted scholar lived on in the hearts and minds of villagers. The testament to the enduring power of love and magic that lies within the mysteries of nature.